Dave.
You big yellow bastard!
Where'd you get your sleep?
Jesus Christ.
One gather, two alley.
This is the Dave Duke podcast.
Here I am, Lord. It is I, Lord. Episode 12 of the Dave Duke podcast coming to you. How are things? What's happening today? Are we well? Are you good? I hope you are. I hope you've had a splendid week and you've been taking it savage handy. I'm Dave Duke. This is the Dave Duke podcast, episode 12, and I am absolutely shitting a brick because it is C-Sessions weekend, baby. I'm doing not one but two gigs. I'm taking the absolute piss in Bundoran and County Donegal. I'm not only doing the show from the Phoenix Tavern in Bundoran from 3 to 6 with my lovely co-host Fionnuala Corbett. I'm then on Saturday going to pack out the Dome nightclub in Bundoran. Doors open 11 o'clock with support and potential special guest who I'm trying to get on board. By next week's episode, you will know if they have turned up or they've let me down because they're afraid of the crack. And then on Sunday night, Astoria stage. I can tell you finally what time I'm playing at, what stage I'm playing at, and how absolutely nervous I am. Astoria stage, C-Sessions, Surf and Music Festival, Bundoran, County Donegal. I'm playing from 8 p.m. What a French chef's kiss. Class time, playing from 8 o'clock to 9:30. And the way the times are working out, it means I should, if everything's going well, I could absolutely fuck this up. Everything should go well for me to have a good, solid crowd at C-Sessions. I'm going to give you some of the set times that's happening on Sunday. You can look this up yourself on Instagram. Becky Hill is playing on a Saturday night. She's class. Love her. Literally, she's the one thing I'm looking forward to over the weekend most, apart from me playing myself. Of course, you have Ben Hemsley and Hannah Lang if you're into your trance and dance on Friday. Kasabian is there too. On Sunday, so gates open at 4 o'clock, and when I take to the stage at 8 o'clock, on the main stage, Ryan Mack has just finished up. So it's fucking prime time for a bit of bum 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 bum. It's fucking Dave Duke. So then there's no one on the main stage from 8 to 8:30. Then the Merry Wallopers are on. They're great. But I don't know, on a Venn diagram, I don't know how many people overlap. Dave Duke fans, Merry Walloper fans, their music fans, dance music fans. So people will clearly go to the Merry Wallopers because they're class and there's a reason they're on the main stage. But I'm hoping that there's a nice crowd. So they play for 45 minutes and then I'm still playing for another 15 minutes. So what I expect to happen is that I have a big surge from 8 to 8:30 and that people feck off. Some people, most people will stay. Some people feck off to the Merry Wallopers and then they come back when the Merry Wallopers are finished and then I will finish at 9:30. And then the Coronas are on 9:45 on the main stage to 11:15 and Groove Armada finishing out the festival, C-Sessions, Bundoran, County Donegal, 20 to 12 to 1 a.m. So in summary, I hope to see you. Well, look, you could be listening from Cork, or you could be one of our Belgian listeners, or Australia, so I won't see you there. But for those who are in the locality, in the vicinity, and are going to C-Sessions, here's what you need to know. Dave Duke, the Dome nightclub Bundoran, Saturday night, and then on Sunday, C-Sessions. And I've been weirdly paranoid about doing the Dome before C-Sessions. You know, am I diluting by doing two gigs in the town at once? But here's the deal. All the locals go out the Saturday night, even if they don't go to the festival itself. A lot of people won't buy festival tickets because Monday isn't a bank holiday. So a lot of locals will just go out Saturday night. So I'm doing a gig for the locals. And then I'm doing a gig for the locals and the festival crowd. If you're wondering the reasoning behind that. All the questions today have been on C-Sessions. I opened the podcast question box on Instagram for about half an hour get in quick, and then it comes back. Or sorry, I delete it, and I screenshot all the questions. Cormac with a wonderfully timed question today. Worst thing that happened while DJing at an event. Cormac will answer your question at the end of the podcast. But today, I want to talk about what's in the news. NCT centres. They're in the news because they have an ombudsman. Now, he's not just for NCT centres. I'm assuming it's a he. Here's me with my sexism. You big fucking sexist pig, Dave Duke. Assuming the ombudsman is not a woman. If they're a woman, do you have to call them the ombudswoman? Ombudswoman? Doesn't even sound right. Doesn't even sound right. NCT ombudsman is... Come on. Their name... Oh, come on. Give me the... Yeah, it is a he. So I'm not sexist. Well, I probably still am. A little bit. I need to work on that. I shouldn't have automatically assumed, but I think I seen this story earlier on in the day, so I knew it was a man and not a woman. But I need to correct myself. Oh, well, any man could do that. Or woman. Classic. Last minute thought. About 50% of the world's population and about the better sex. In fairness. You know, men are good at some things, but where would we be without women, huh? Huh? We wouldn't be fucking alive. Just a load of men rubbing each other's knees up and down the country, trying to make babies, but we wouldn't get there. Because no ovaries, no wombs, no chiller. Just loads of spunk all over the shop. Carrying on. The NCT ombudsman has revealed a load of complaints that they got. A record 4,791 complaints were brought to the Ombudsman Ger Deering's office last year. In his ruling, the Ombudsman noted a number of COVID-related restrictions in place at the time for NCT centres, including encouraging car owners to leave the NCT centre as soon as possible after the test. One of the complaints that stood out about the NCT centres was a woman who went in to get her car NCT'd. And she was told, don't be lingering in the waiting room. Get in, give your details, keep your mask on. We'll test the car. Go for a wee walk. Go get a coffee somewhere. Come back in about 20 minutes, half an hour. Don't sit in the waiting room. We don't care if it's piss and rain. We don't care if it's snow and ice. There's COVID in the country. And if you sit in this room, then it's a danger to everyone. Even at the time, there was a procedure in the NCT centres, because I was one of the unfortunate ones that had to get my NCT cert. Well, I have to get it every time. I'll speak about that in a minute. But I did get my NCT done during some of the COVID restrictions. And one of their policies was that, ridiculous as it sounds, when you parked up your car, that you left the windows down, that fresh air would get in. It didn't matter if it was piss and rain. Put your windows down and someone will be with you momentarily to take your car in for the test. This woman was in COVID times. Luckily for her, her car passed. Amazing. Here's your cert. Get the fuck out. Got into her car, drove home, and she noticed a discrepancy. If you've never went through the NCT, you're either not a driver, you're driving illegally, or you get mammy or daddy or boyfriend or girlfriend to do it for you. Because you're lame. But if you've never done the NCT, and there are many, you get a sheet with your cert. It looks like a tax disc, insurance disc. All the details are on it. And there's a tiny little section that says odometer. And that is telling you how many miles this car has on it. So I went in, I had 80,000 miles. They put that on the sheet. And then it's a way of verifying a car. Say Jimmy wants to buy my car off Donegal and he looks through the NCT cert and he goes, okay, 2 years ago she had 60,000 miles, then last year it had 70,000 miles, oh, and this year it has 80,000 miles. Okay, that sounds like a genuine car, the mileage isn't messed with. I'm going to assume you know nothing about cars. I might have said this on the podcast before. I assume fucking nothing. Because there are people that listen to this in outer Mongolia. They mightn't even know what a car is. Mileage on a car is very important. It's like mileage on a man or a woman. Too much mileage and that car might not be worth buying because parts start to go, parts are worn out. You could drive the car for 10 miles and it could fall apart. You could drive it for 100,000 and there wouldn't be a problem. But mileage is always a good indicator of this car is fresh enough, I'm going to have little problems, or this car is absolutely rattled and badgered and there's no point me buying it. So the mileage is very important. Woman got her cert from the NCT and there was 40,000 kilometres extra on her cert. So on her screen, it said 70,000 miles. On the odometer, it said 70,000 miles. On the NCT sheet, it said 110,000 miles. That's an example. It was 40,000 kilometres. So on her clock, it would have said, or possibly said 70,000 kilometres. On the sheet, it said 100,000 kilometres. And she went back to the NCT centre and was like, how's it going, man? You tested my car there and you actually put down a wrong mileage or kilometre reading. And your man went, yeah, and what about it, son? Well, could you print me out a new cert, please and thank you? And he said, no, no, I won't. Why not? Well, you should have fucking checked it, shouldn't you have? The woman made the argument that it's a very pressurised situation getting your car NCT'd and then COVID restrictions on top of that and you're being rushed out the door, didn't really check it, it's in tiny little writing. And the NCT tester still said no. Then the ombudsman got involved and the NCT centre went, oh, sorry, hands up, my bad. Yeah, no fucking bother, we'll change that. Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Not a thing done till the ombudsman got involved and then magically, no bother, hi, sound. I've had argy-bargies with phone companies and if you're having problems with your phone company, genuine problems now, you can't just ring them up and take the piss and hopefully that they'll take you serious. But I had a massive problem at my home in Leitrim. It's very rural and coverage is just average at the very best of times. But it went from average to fucking abysmal. And it was abysmal for weeks and weeks and weeks. And there was groups on Facebook about what are we going to do about this awful phone coverage. Oh, and I've rang and they're doing nothing for me. And I, without being a politician or a councillor or even a representative of the community, took into ringing them and was getting nowhere. Oh, Sandy's not going to send somebody out. How are you going to send someone out? I have no bias against your religion, your accent, where you're from. But I am in Glenaid, County Leitrim, and this company has outsourced customer service to you. That annoys me. It's not a racism thing. I just like to talk to somebody in the country. I don't care what religion they are. I don't care what race they are. As long as they're in the country. I don't care what colour they are. As long as I know they're within driving distance of the mast, then I feel they're going to be able to do something. But if you're ringing about phone coverage in Leitrim and you're getting through to someone in India, you don't have great confidence in them. It's not personal. It's geographical. So I asked for a manager's contact and they did not want to give me one. This is the weird procedure you have to go through. You have to ring them several times and go through a facade of a conversation. I told them I wanted to make a complaint, but we had to go through this little play of going through all the fucking options in the day until we got to the end option of, have I satisfied your query? No, you have not. I want to make a complaint. You have to ring phone companies to get a reference number to make a complaint online, and then somebody rings you back. So you have to ring, go through all the hoops, get a reference number, and then you can complain. You can't ring them to complain straight away. Oh God, no. But here is what you need to drop into the conversation if you're having problems with shitty service. And it's genuine shitty service. It's their fault, not yours. And you have to be sure of this. You tell them you're going to report them to Comreg. They will jump through any hoops to not be reported to Comreg. I don't know what hold Comreg has over them, but it must be huge. Because after weeks of trying, I mentioned Comreg. I dropped the bombshell. I said, that's it. I'm dropping the C word. You're not, are you? Yes, I am. Comreg. My phone rings one day, and I know where I was, funnily enough, because it was that out-of-body experience. You're actually talking to someone who can action something, can actually get something done for you. It's rare. I was walking up the stairs in the Clayton Hotel in Liffey Valley. I was doing a course there in 2019, and it was a woman from head office in Dublin for this phone company, and she could not have been nicer. I got money off my bill. I was assured the problem would be rectified, and sure enough, within 7 working days, the issues of phone coverage in my locality were mysteriously fixed. Holy God, I've done it. And the Facebook groups disappeared, and everyone was able to text each other again and send each other dirty messages and nudes and funny memes in family WhatsApp groups. I basically saved the community, and I've never been thanked for it because I've never told the story to now. You sometimes have to drop bombshells, like the woman dropping an email to the ombudsman. I had to drop Comreg on the phone to customer service to get something fucking done. NCT centres, they are not all of it, but the waiting room of NCT centres must be one of the most saddest places in all of the world. I have been, and you'll think this is me taking the piss, I have been to wakes with better atmosphere than NCT waiting rooms. There's something fucking awful about them. I don't know exactly why. Is it because people do not like seeing their car being examined? Do people just keep their car in a constant state of disrepair, so they're expecting the worst news possible? Is it because people go in there with the mentality, this is like going in to be told what bill you're going to get? A random figure. It's like winning streak, spin the wheel, but instead of plus figures, it could be minus fucking figures. The NCTs shouldn't come out and tell you if you've passed or failed. They should come out and tell you you've passed, or you're going to owe 1,200 to 1,300 euro to rectify the problem. That would make NCT centres less intimidating. It's the unknown of what is to come. If they come out and went, well done, you've passed, you could do these few things, but you have a cert for a year, well done. Or they come out and went, you failed, you owe 1,200 euro to a mechanic. It's like, oh, well, fuck, that's a lot of money, but at least I know what it is. Rather than getting the fail sheet and looking at, oh, Jesus, I've a wheel bearing gone and this and that and other. Tell people a general estimate of what they might owe to rectify the problem in their cars. Solution number 1. Solution number 2, pump some music into those NCT waiting rooms. The quietness is desperate. Nobody even talks to each other in NCT centres. Nobody dares. I've seen people striking up conversations in doctors' waiting rooms, and they could be going in to be told that they're going to die, but they're happy to have a conversation. They go into an NCT centre and they would rather die than have the conversation. It makes no sense. Put on the TV. Put on Dahi and Mara in the middle of the day going, hup, hup, hey, hup, you boy, come on, hup, hup, I'm Dahi O'Shea, I shift nurses. I met my woman through the Rose of Tralee and we're riding since, eh? Hey, oh, ho. That's a Dahi O'Shea impersonation. And Mara's there going, that's a lovely dress now. That's a lovely dress. Do you want to get a holiday to Cancun? Well, you can't win it here. We're only doing holidays to Birmingham. Text competition to 5777777 and answer this question. what is your fucking name, you idiot? You don't even know. Now, text your answer to 57777. Text costs €25 plus stamp. Chat so much. Put that on in the waiting room of the NCT Centre and just see happiness levels arise out. Imagine the dream of going in to get your car NCT'd and you can watch Bradley Walsh guilt-free on the chase. Because you have to sit and wait for your car, so you may as well be able to watch something guilt-free. Do you ever get guilt? I get guilty watching stuff. The only time I ever watch anything is in bed, trying to fall asleep. I don't watch stuff. I can't. Here's how little stuff I get to watch. Because of busyness and guilt. I opened my Now membership. Thank you, Now. Previously known as Now TV. And I was going to watch something on Now. And I was looking through the settings to see, when is this running out? When do I have to renew? And it said, last used, tells you on the phone, was April. I had watched nothing in over 2 months on Now. I deleted Netflix off my phone. What the fuck is that like? I feel guilty sitting down to watch stuff. Circling back, I know where I'm going. You think, how have we got from NCT centres to you haven't watched anything on Now in 2 months? I know. Bradley Walsh. Guilt-free television. I'm calmest in waiting rooms because you have to wait. So it's guilt-free sitting. I'm happiest in the barber's chair. A sense of calm comes over me. I can't be looking at my phone. Great. If anyone rings me, I have great excuse. Sorry, I'm just getting my hair cut here. So relaxing. Massages then, obviously, but I haven't had one in 3 years. So NCT centres, I beg you, put on a bit of daytime TV in your NCT centres. If you can't do that, put on a bit of music. Make sure that the water dispenser is full. Put in a vending machine for coffees. I'd look forward to my NCT more. But I go in there now and I see dire faces, unfamiliar places. Everybody thinks they're gonna die in the NCT centre. It's a fucking hole. What a depressing place. Do. I'll write a rap and fix the NCT centres. That's in the news this week. The other thing that's in the news this week, Jack Grealish is a daft bastard who I'm starting to really enjoy. I can't really believe it. That Jack Grealish, who could have played for Ireland, did play for Ireland up until under-21s and then switched allegiance to God Save the Queen. Man City won a treble. They've done very well for themselves. They won the FA Cup, they won the Premier League, and they won the Champions League final on Saturday night just gone by against Inter Milan. It was a shit game. I watched every minute of it. The goal was very good. Jack Grealish himself admitted he didn't play that great, but he's a mad lad who really enjoyed winning. But the poor fella does not have 5 brain cells that aren't dedicated to football. He's a very smart footballer. He's a very talented footballer. He's gifted. He's brilliant. There's no way you can be on that Man City team unless you are top class in the world. But the poor bastard is as daft.
Dean Smith also says you're an encyclopedia of football. Where does that come from?
A what?
An encyclopedia of football.
I don't know what that means.
The man doesn't know what an encyclopedia is. He's not doing an act. He's not putting it on. He genuinely doesn't have a fucking notion what an encyclopedia is. There's also this, what he said during Euro 2020. Oh no, it was the World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, the other day against Iran, we were the best thing since sliced bread, scoring 6 goals.
Listen to that again. He didn't say the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, the other day against Iran, we were the best thing since sliced bread, scoring 6 goals.
The best thing since sliced veg. Now, he got a bit of Lash on Twitter about that. And he was like, no, I definitely said sliced bread. No, you fucking did not, Jack.
Yeah, the other day against Iran, we were the best thing since sliced bread, scoring 6 goals.
Poor Jack. Not a brain cell kind does that man have in his head. That's not dedicated to football. The other bit that I found this week was Man City were on a tour of China, playing a few exhibition games in the off-season, and he was asked to record a few messages in Mandarin for the Chinese fans. Now, even I would struggle with this. I think you would too, unless you're a Mandarin speaker. But...
And then what do I say?
春节看大戏.
How do I say the first bit?
It's CHUN.
Looks like a K.
春节
春节
看大戏.
看大戏. 春节看大戏. 春节看大戏.
Jack Grealish, God love you, son. The reason why I have started to like him a little bit is because he celebrated genuinely. I think we're used to prime athletes not looking like they're having the crack even when they win. Even Dublin, you don't see much of their mad celebrations after winning All Irelands. And then you see someone as famous and as talented as Jack Grealish absolutely going on a mad one after winning the Champions League. And you think, yeah, you're likeable, you're a bit of crack. So the final was in Istanbul. He didn't take off his kit. He had stories up of his mate falling asleep the next day. He stopped in Ibiza for 10 or 12 hours. And then the victory or homecoming parade through Manchester City on the top of the bus, hardly able to speak. I'm conflicted. I'm like, am I enjoying this because he looks like a raving alcoholic? Should I really be celebrating that and enjoying that? Or am I just enjoying the crack? I don't know. A bit conflicted. You know my thoughts on alcohol if you listen to a previous podcast. If not, you should go back. Why did you start here? Go back to Alcohol and Me, or The Drink and Me. But Jack Grealish, starting to like him. Still a fucking traitor to this country, but I'm starting to like him. Must be what it feels like to like Oliver Cromwell, somewhat. That's the up-to-date. Time for the gospel. Today's gospel is going to be the closest to a religious gospel that you're going to get. The gospel, according to Dave Duke, to you, dear listener of the Dave Duke podcast, is take one proverb from the Bible from me. It has happened to me many times in my life, and it is this. The Lord giveth with one hand, and he taketh away with thy other. Another way of saying that is, one door closes, one door opens. I've had gigs cancelled, and then another gig come within 5 minutes. What I say to you, my dear child, is do not despair at disappointment. Only look at it as an opportunity for something greater. Whether that is a holiday that hasn't left the group chat, a job opportunity that you've been turned down for, a ride that you didn't quite manage to get, a money up making opportunity that passed you by. Look at these things not as disappointments, but opportunities for greater things to come your way. That is the gospel. Go and serve the Lord and the podcast. Gospels will not be as profound going forth. Time for questions, and I did promise you that Cormac's question would be answered. Worst thing that happened while DJing at an event. Cormac, it's very easy to answer that question because there is one specific event. It was a mate's 21st in Cashellard, that's just outside Ballyshannon in County Donegal, and he asked me would I DJ, and I said yeah, no bother. It was his 21st. a very important night in all our lives, whether we have a party or not. It's an important milestone. And there was a band before me, and then I was finishing out the night. Great. The band was set up in the one spot that the DJ could go. That's usually the run-of-the-mill in any pubs or venues. They usually only have one stage. Shout out to the real venues who have two stages, knowing that a DJ might play after a band. And fuck all bands who take every inch of space on stages that they're playing with. Sorry, Cormac, now we're going to have to hold on for a minute because Dave is on a fucking mad one today. Bands are cunts. They take up so much space on any stage that they're given. Give them 6 feet or 600, and a band, no matter 2 or 3 or 1,000 people, they can fill any void. I've seen 3-man bands not leaving an inch of space on a 20-foot wide stage. Ye bastards, what is wrong with ye? Leave the DJ a bit of space. Are you annoyed at us? Are you jealous of us? You must be. You can't play those drums for shit. Now leave me a bit of space. Bands are bastards. Sorry for calling you See You Next Tuesdays. That's a very rough word. But I've had an awful amount of run-ins with bands. Not anymore because I don't do much of that private work playing after bands. But when I do, I'm going to be throwing schlaps. So Cormac, I was playing at this 21st, or meant to be, in Cashellard, Mallashannon. Band finishes up. They swiftly move on. Fair play to them. Thanks to the lads. I move in my equipment, put on my laptop, plug it into my controller, get the speakers going. My laptop absolutely shit itself. Just refused to work. The hard drive fried. No music, no sound, no nothing. Oh my God, I'm even cringing now. And it's about 8 years ago. I'm still embarrassed by that night. Mother was there, the father was there, the sister was there, the brother was there, the friends were there, the family was there, I was there, and not a fucking bit of music for any of them. I'm still apologising to him to this day. And he's that good of a fella, that kind-hearted, that he still wanted to pay me. And that only made me more embarrassed, the fact that he was going to pay me for not doing an absolute thing and for me ruining his night. Now look, there were the type of lads that they weren't going to let no DJ get in their way of having the bit of crack. So they're a great night. But that's the worst thing that ever happened to me at a gig. Having no music. It's a nightmare. What's the plan for C-Sessions? Jamie, I've covered your question, hopefully. What's bigger to you? Asked Sean. Eurovision or C-Sessions? I certainly didn't have to do as much prep for Eurovision. I was able to enjoy the spectacle. Whereas currently, I'm shitting it for C-Sessions. Genuinely, you've reached this far in today's podcast, so you're a real one. You haven't been offended. I need to tell you something. I get nervous poos. My body tells me I'm nervous before my head does. My body will create poos before my head tells me I'm anxiety ridden about something coming up. And I'd say I'm going to have a few nervous poos on Sunday. Not the kind of thing that I expected to tell you when this podcast originated a few months ago. But here we are, baby. Me and you and the nervous poos. The new terrible children's book coming out for Christmas. Oh my God. Santa has brought me, you, and the nervous poos. Actually, there's probably more fucked up kids' books than that. On that note, thank you for listening to today's absolutely mega mental podcast. I sincerely hope you enjoy it and enjoyed it today. Thank you once again to everyone, maybe even yourself, who has rated this podcast 5 stars on Spotify. They're really sexy 5 stars. And at the time of recording, we have 138 of those sexy 5 stars. Right. Time for me to go ship myself again for C-sessions. I might see you Saturday. I might see you Sunday. If not, I'll bring you all up to speed. And I'm going to tell you the truth, because it's the only thing I know how to do. Whether I absolutely fucking failed abysmally and 3 people showed up, or I had one of the best nights DJing of my life. We're going to find out, baby. One way or another. It's coming. I'm going to get it. Take it. Savage Handy. You legend. I hope you have a really great day. Take it. Savage Handy. You legend. I hope you have a great day. Take it. Savage Handy.